Amazing. We are almost there. Are we live? It looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Tiffany Taylor, and today I'm going to do a quick training on productivity. So if you're looking for some help with your time management, maybe you're getting distracted, maybe you're afraid of scheduling and calendars, but you feel that craving for structure, that's what we're here for today. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello, Jeanette. So good to see you here. So we're going to do a super quick training. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. For those of you joining on with the replay, give me a hashtag replay in the comments so I know you're there. And for those of you catching this live, let me know where in the world are you joining on from. And we are good to go. Now, Canva usually has a delay with this, so we're going to see if Canva behaves nicely with me today. And give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen being shared right now as well. Should be up and running. Awesome. All right, everyone. So we have about 25 minutes here today. I'm going to go ahead and show you what you're going to get out of this workshop anyways. So today you're going to learn how to overcome scheduling stresses and optimize that structure you crave so you can be a better business owner, parent, partner, and just overall better version of you. So you're going to learn 3 simple and powerful steps to overcoming scheduling stress. You're going to learn how to transition to a digital calendar and optimize your schedule. And you're going to have a Q&A where you can ask me anything. Really important, if you're catching the replay, I would love to invite you to join my Facebook group, Productivity Hacking for Entrepreneurs. We do a Q&A there about every week, and we also do free trainings every Tuesday with guest experts that come in. If you're a guest expert in this group that talks about anything relating to productivity, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm always looking for new guest experts to collab with. Okay, so what does the next 30 minutes look like? I'm going to give you a 3-minute background on me so you understand who I am and why I'm sitting here talking about this. Then you're going to get about 22 minutes of workshop content. And I'm going to give you free gifts at the end. Does anyone here love free gifts? I always love when someone says that. I'm like, yes, give me everything you got. So before we get started, if you're just joining on, I would love for you to get the most out of this training. And what that means is putting distractions away, putting your phone away, being fully present, and staying engaged with me in the chat box if something resonates. Now, because I'm sharing this on Facebook Live, it's a little bit difficult for me to see the comments. So I'm going to be doing my best to check back and forth to make sure I'm not missing anything. And I'm going to do that with the help of my phone, which will show me where we're at. Awesome. So before we dive into this productivity stuff, I want to share with you why it's on my heart to talk about productivity of all things. A few things to know about me is 1, I'm a super nerd. 2, I'm a world traveler. 3, I'm a biohacker. I love studying all the time. I love also kickboxing, driving motorcycles. I like the sports bikes, not the cruisers. Sorry, Mom. I'm also a digital nomad, which means I built my business in a way where I can work from anywhere. And if you can't tell, I have ADHD. So I do work with ADHD entrepreneurs as well. And overall, what I do is I help high achievers work with their biological programming to create a personal system for optimal scheduling so they can perform better in their business and out without sacrificing time. So overview of me, what my last 5-year journey looked like, and only do 5, it's been a long journey. 1, I obsessively learned about productivity because I was tormented by my ADHD and anxiety. And for those of you that don't know what ADHD is, it's attention deficit hyperactive disorder, which makes it very difficult to focus on any one task or even complete a task. That, along with a jarring experience of anxiety, with generalized anxiety disorder, made it really difficult for me to focus for one and get anything done. So I had to learn about the top hacks and tricks for productivity just for my own sanity to get through life. Few of the other things I've overcome over the last 5 years are binge eating disorder, panic attack disorder, the generalized anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, which is PTSD. And I've also lost 60 pounds on my fitness journey in that time. Within that same time frame, I've traveled to 33 countries, I've burnt out from corporate, and I launched my coaching practice in Thailand. So I won't go through the whole story, but I just would really love to talk about how 2020, I understand what a challenging year 2020 was. And I would love to take this opportunity to tell you not to have the thief comparison steal your joy. I know on social media last year for me looked pretty epic because I was living on tropical islands, but I'll tell you right now, that was one of the hardest years of my life. And something to know about me is that whenever things go terribly wrong, the stronger I become. I always look for a lesson in any tough time. And I use that opportunity to start diving in deeper into spirituality and meditation and breath work. And that's when I started leading women's workshops and personal development. And only from a place of healing and alignment was I able to fully launch my business a year later today. So scheduling is for those who choose a day instead of saying one day. The most common scheduling cycles I see with stress are cycle A or B. A meaning you have poor time management, so you're going into high stress and overwhelming frustration, which leads to poor stress and energy management, leading into even worse time management. Or cycle B, I see you're working hard and you're super motivated, but then you're working so hard that you're trying to keep up the momentum and your energy is draining. And then inevitably you have a crash and you need to take a few days off before feeling guilty and jumping right back into it again. Let me know in the comments if one of those is where you're at right now, because my goal is to break you out of that. All right, so what are these 3 tips? Number 1 is defining what productivity is. Productivity is subjective. It's not the same for everyone, but it's incredibly important that you define it for yourself. That way you don't steal someone else's definition of it. Productivity is achieving your goals on time. It's living in alignment with your values. It's realizing you don't have to sacrifice your mental and physical health to get stuff done. It's not a week of smashing goals followed by a week of hibernation to catch up. It's definitely not relying on stimulants in place of sleep or caffeine. And it's definitely not letting your loved ones down in commitments as a sacrifice to achieving your goals. And I'm curious to know, I'm actually going to open up right now because I want to see the comments. I want you to complete the following sentence based on what you know today. Schedules are blank. What is the first word that comes to mind when I say that? And I'm going to go ahead and open this up on my phone so I can see the comment box. Schedules are annoying, stressful, restricting, anything like this. Necessary, maybe. Go ahead and let me know. And I'm going to move on because we are crunched for time. Okay. Now, tip number 2, you're making trade-offs every day. The question is, what trade-offs are you making and how do we make them? How do we make you consciously aware of it? Are you making trade-offs in your relationships, in your sleep, in your nutrition, in your physical or mental health, in your joy and your fun and your hobbies? You're making trade-offs every day, and it's going to be the reactive ones that make you more stressed out. So we want to switch to having proactive trade-offs where you can have foresight of what your week is going to look like and be able to navigate accordingly. And digital calendars are a great way to do that. And what you really want to do is build a digital calendar system that simplifies your decision-making opportunities, visually holds you accountable for your boundaries, prioritizes your hierarchy of values, and takes into account energy management. And you can build all this out based on different color coding strategies, different biohacks, and other techniques that I teach in my coaching to help make a regular calendar an actual system, an ecosystem for your business and your life. Now, probably the number 1 controversial thing I talk about in productivity is to-do lists. To-do lists are wildly unproductive. They create this false reality where trade-offs don't exist. They don't account for your time. They contribute to time blindness. Those of you with ADHD, you know what this is. They cause chronic anxiety, and they make everything seem like it's important and urgent. So why are digital calendars superior? Well, 1, they realistically account for time. 2, they're allowing for that flow and focus throughout the day. And also, they require critical thought in your vision, values, and goals. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to optimize your workflow if you're already using a digital calendar. And I think it's important to realize here is that no matter where you're at with your calendar, it's always great to have a white belt mentality and look at this and think, how can I be even better? When you look at anything from that perspective, you open up a new door, a new window of opportunity for you to improve. So here are the few things I teach. I think the number one mindset shift I teach is scheduling or calendar hacking. It's a process. It's not only a process, but it's also a tool. But the one thing it's not is just something you follow. And I think this is a big mindset shift because a lot of people come to entrepreneurship out of corporate or out of school, where you're given a schedule and you're forced to follow it. When you're an entrepreneur, now there's a switch, right? Now that schedule is something that needs to serve you. It's not something that needs to be telling you what to do. And there's ebbs and flows with both, but there's a process to finding one that works for you. So if you're feeling frustrated or you're feeling inconsistent, follow this process and just recognize it that it's this. It is a process. It's not something you do once and become perfect at. And the steps to realize are, one, it starts with vision. You don't want to drive blind. So oftentimes I see powerful, intelligent, successful entrepreneurs starting with setting goals. And yes, I said successful because you can have success if you start with goals, but oftentimes when you start with goals alone, you end up with a really successful business and feeling internally like you're out of alignment and not even wanting it, and maybe even building resentment towards a business because you don't have the lifestyle you want or the lifestyle you envisioned. You have to start with the vision first. Once you set the vision, the goals are meant to map out the journey to get to the vision. And it's not until you have goals that you can use the word productivity. And this is a challenge for those of you who enjoy saying, I feel productive, or I had a productive day today. Get away from using productivity as a feeling and start using it as a metric that is used to be measured against your goals. When you do that, you'll start to notice a lot of things in your calendar start to shift. And once you do that, you can start looking at flow. How do I create flow in my schedule? You don't want to force yourself to do things. When you have fulfillment and you have flow, it's going to be a natural result of living in alignment. And what gets measured gets managed. So you want to track things accordingly. And most importantly, accountability is so mission critical for business owners, but you don't want to start with accountability first, or else you're going to be spinning your wheels trying to make progress. And 4 months later, you're in the same place. We all know how painful that can be. So you don't want to look at the accountability until you already have this whole journey mapped out. And accountability can be an accountability partner or a coach, but someone that truly pushes you and doesn't put up with any excuses you might have, right? Because you can either have excuses or results, but you can't have both. So for those of you watching, I also just want to let you know that this is a very simplified version of my intensive 2-hour workshop that's airing tonight. So it's actually starting in about an hour. So if you're really enjoying this and you say, Tiff, I want to go deeper, I want to know more, I don't want just the simple stuff, just go ahead and DM me and I will get the link to you. You'll be able to access the workshop. You get to keep the replay. You get to keep all the resources that you're not getting in this live right now. And you also get live feedback and coaching from me. When you purchase access to the workshop, if you only catch the replay, you get a whole week to ask me anything on the course materials, and you'll get a personalized answer from me. That being said, we're going to go into energy management now. So reframing again, starting from the beginning, one of the top questions I'm being asked as a productivity coach is, how do I prioritize my to-do list? And what I always say uniformly is we need to back up and we need to prioritize where you're getting your energy from, right? When people don't have time, they usually deprioritize things that we need biologically, like sleep, sunlight, exercise, social time. We need these things. It's part of being human. So we want to make sure that we're prioritizing them so we can have enough energy to prioritize a to-do list. I guarantee anyone that has a to-do list right now, and if we were in a live room, I would say hands up. But even if you're, watching this and I can't see you, hands up if you've had a to-do list and you had time to get things done, but you just didn't have the energy to get those things done. I know I've been there. I know a lot of people have been there. So this is why we want to prioritize the sources of energy. You want to know how much sleep you actually need. You want to know the quality of sleep you're getting. This is something I teach in my programs. How do you actually know how much sleep you need? How do you actually know you're getting enough sleep? How do you know the quality of your sleep? I always recommend tracking this. These are the 2 trackers I would recommend for anyone looking. And in my programs, what I really love to teach is how do you even evaluate your sleep stages? Why do they matter? How can you learn to adapt your workflow and the tasks you have set up for the day based on your biometrics? How can you learn to focus better based on your biometrics? And a few of the other things, I'm not going to go deep into it today. A few of the other things I talk about are also like what's the length of time you spend in your sleep stages? What's your HRV? What's your resting heart rate? How does that affect your anxiety? In my coaching, I've seen clients who were so high stress in what they were doing that their heart rate was even higher in their sleep than when they were awake. Can you imagine your heart rate's just as high as your sleep as it is when you're going for a walk during the day? It's alarming. I've seen clients who assumed they were sleeping 7 hours a night come to find out it was actually like 3.5 to 4. And this is not an exaggeration. This is actually what happens. So you want to be aware of these things. And all of these actually affect your ability to focus as well. So I love to teach how you can look at each one of these and adapt your schedule accordingly. Time to talk about time. So really just want to make sure you notice here on this pyramid, the clarity on vision, values, and goals is the foundation that has to come first. Mindset and energy management needs to come next. Looking at your time and your calendar is really the third step in this process. So for those of you who are looking at calendar, I'm going to give you a few hacks right now. Again, I'm not going too deep into this. So if you want like the full version of this, join on to tonight's workshop. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll drop the link in the comments once this is posted. So one, you want to utilize time blocking. Time blocking, if you haven't heard of it, is when you choose, instead of just sitting down and tackling a to-do list, you will look at your schedule for the day or look at a planner if that's what you're using now. And you will say, for this hour, I'm focused on marketing tasks. For this hour and a half, I'm focused on completing this report or project or writing the copy of my website or whatever the task might be. But you have a whole chunk of time dedicated to just doing one thing in single tasking. And you can organize these time blocks with color coding, which makes it a lot easier to see your boundary setting. And the third thing you can do is you can schedule your top 3 priority tactics. And I say tactics because I really encourage anyone who works with me to step away from a to-do list entirely. I mean, completely ditch it, divorce it, leave it behind, don't use it anymore, end that relationship for good. I really don't place to-do lists are productive. So quick example of what you don't want your calendar to look like if you're using one. You don't want it to just say work. You don't want it to just have random meetings scattered, and you definitely don't want a lot of blank space. Right? This is not what we want. We want to be more specific on what exactly we're doing at different times in the day. We want to make sure it's not just work stuff. And if you want to get a little bit more advanced, you can think about the time of day where you're most focused and schedule a time block there. But this is what I mean by time blocking. Gym is a time block. Coffee and commute is a time block. Focus is a time block. And that's just a basic example. And what I teach within my coaching is how do we evolve from there? How do we get from this basic calendar or from a to-do list, if that's where you're working from, and how do we get more advanced? How do we use this schedule as a feedback tool to move to a color coding strategy that works for us, to learn where our energy is coming in and out and how to keep it flowing in and out throughout the day rather than keeping it stagnant? How to balance the masculine and the feminine energies within your schedule so that you're still feeling whole and balanced throughout the day and not being exhausted at the end of the day. And I also teach things like optimal time to work out, optimal time to drink coffee. Yes, there's a real answer to that one. Best time to stay active and how to regulate your circadian rhythm so you get the most out of your day and the most predictable, focused energy patterns. So these are some of the things I teach, and really important to know that you want to have fulfillment beyond work. Surprise, surprise, you have a life outside of work, and you want to make sure you plan for that too. That way you don't take it for granted. I think one of the most common things I see within my coaching as well is what usually those reactive trade-offs I mentioned is missing family dinners, missing birthdays, missing date nights, or skipping those altogether, skipping family vacations, working late nights, cutting down on sleep, and snapping at a partner because you don't have the energy or the capacity to communicate, right? So you really want to make sure that you're looking beyond work. And it might look something like this, and I'll explain the color coding and what switch means in my workshop tonight if you want to go a little bit deeper, but you want to have everything accounted for on the calendar. So where are we at on time? Perfect timing. Awesome. So what 3 changes can you make this week to start seeing results? You want to start where you are, first of all, and you can do that by grabbing a biometric tracker like a Fitbit. Do not recommend Apple Watch. Sorry, I don't like Apple Watch for this purpose. So start by tracking your biometrics. Get a feel for what your sleep looks like right now. Start tracking where your time and energy going with a time audit this week. And if you don't know how to perform a proper time audit, that's a big part of the workshop I'm hosting tonight. When you get access, even if you're watching the replay right now, when you get access to this workshop, you're going to get a downloadable file that gives you my time audit worksheets on Excel and really breaks down how to delegate, what to delegate, where your time's going right now, what your perfect day looks like, and what needs to shift and change based on that. So if you've never done a time audit, I recommend grabbing that. And number 3, you want to eliminate what's not serving you. Delete what's not essential, delegate anything that someone else can do, and duplicate anything that increases your energy. And most importantly, schedule time for reflection. That's how we learn, that's how we grow, and it's mission critical to your growth. A simple reminder here, maybe a bitter one as well, is there's certain things that can be delegated and there's certain things that can't. You can't delegate date night. You can't delegate sleep. You can't delegate eating healthy, although I wish you could. Can't delegate exercise. Again, if someone finds a way for someone else to burn calories for me, sign me up, but it doesn't exist. And we can't delegate the prioritizing because we're in the CEO position. And everything else can be delegated. So be mindful of that and keep an open mind on what you actually can be delegating. So for those of you who enjoyed this mini training, I know it was quick and it was short and sweet. There were a lot of golden nuggets in there for you. But if you want to learn more about this productivity process, and if you're saying, I'm afraid of burnout, I don't want to head down that path, I want to be productive while feeling fully in alignment and while taking care of my mindset, my mental health, and my physical health, then everything I teach is exactly for you. So what I've learned on my journey, I've researched and done interviews. There are 50 entrepreneurs now. If you want to be one of the entrepreneurs I interview, I'm still hosting interviews right now. Just DM me the word interview and I'll get the link for you. But what I've found so far is that 96.5% of the entrepreneurs I've surveyed on time management shared they never read a book, they never took a course, and they never even Googled a solution to the scheduling stressors. And the number one reason was they didn't have time, but it was on their to-do list to find a better way of doing things. So I have an answer for you to this. I have the Productivity Accelerator program coming out. It's an 8-week mentorship journey that walks you through this entire process and implementing and optimizing a scheduling system that's going to leverage your time and energy so you can stop saying one day to things that matter and start living a stress-less lifestyle. And also to make sure that when we talk this time next year, you're not sitting where you are right now, right? I think that's the most painful of all. So this is what it looks like. I won't go into too much of it now, but a little bit of what it looks like is this. There's 3 core focuses that I teach. One is on time, one is on stress, and one is on mindset. And this is after a year of working with clients like surgeons and lawyers and CEOs and real estate agents and real estate investments. I've worked with a lot of different industries, and this is the proven system that works for my clients that I'm bringing into a group format now. So I teach things like delegating, how to delegate, who to delegate to, how to manage someone, where to find them, scheduling like we went over today, simple tech automations for those who aren't tech savvy that'll save you at least 30% of your time. I teach things like optimizing your sleep with sleep hacking, how to focus better, how to interpret your biometrics, and then the mindset side of things, because we're all entrepreneurs after all, and things like distraction affect us, things like procrastination, perfectionism, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, fear of being seen. These are all things that are costing you potentially tens of thousands of dollars. So it'd be crazy for me not to include the mindset part as well. So that's what the Productivity Accelerator method looks like. I'm only looking for 10 women, and it's not available to everyone. I'm personally interviewing to see who would be a fit for this program. So if that's something you're interested in, I just want you to click the link I'm going to put in the comments in a moment. And all that link does is it gets you to this application form right here. Just going to ask you a few questions to see if you might be a fit for the program. And if you are, you're going to get this booklet right here. It's going to give you all the details, all the juicy information. And we're going to have a 20-minute no obligation call just to see if we're a fit. Okay. Free gift time. How are you doing on time? Ooh, we are right on it. Okay. 3 minutes left, as I promised. So now it's time to give you your free gifts. Here's what you're going to get. You're going to get my 7-step roadmap to optimizing your energy, structuring and prioritizing your tasks, and efficiently managing your time for your life and business. If you're still using a to-do list, I also have here what I call my evolve to-do list. So this gives you a perfect structure to do a brain dump to evolve your to-do list and to do an execution guide, which can then be moved over into a calendar if you need that extra support. You're also going to get a bunch of extra checklists. And I think what's most valuable is in this Facebook group every Tuesday, we have free training Tuesday. So I bring in guest experts every week to talk about things like sleep hacking. I think the next one coming up on Tuesday, tomorrow is how to hire a VA. We've had intermittent fasting experts coming in. We've had meditation experts coming in. So much good value in that group. 100% free. It's just to build community for me. And if you want, oh yeah, my goal setting workbook's in there too. You're going to get a bunch of stuff. So if you want the link to join the group, just DM me on Instagram or message me here on Facebook with the word group, and I'll get that link for you to join. Bunch of free downloadables in there. You're also going to get access to my distraction workshop. That's a really popular workshop. It's absolutely free. If you find that you're easily distracted, then you might want to jump on that. And I have about 2 minutes for a Q&A. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to check in with you guys. These are a few QR codes at the bottom. On the right, you can get my Instagram by scanning this QR code here. You can join me on LinkedIn with this QR code. You can find my Facebook group here, this group with this QR code. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, I do have 2 slots available for this. I'm very selective on who I work with, but if you're a motivated, highly driven entrepreneur who just wants to find just better alignment and maybe more efficiency with what they're doing, then go ahead and set up a call with me right here with this QR code. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Thank you all for joining. So excited to be here. I actually just became a standout member on here Friday. So I'm super excited. I hope you all got great value out of this. If you're still with me, would love to know, what was your biggest takeaway in this training? It's a question I had. Or for anyone who's going to catch this replay right now, for anyone catching the replay, why, for anyone who hasn't seen this yet, put in the comments, why do you think they should watch this training? That way, then they see it, they're going to know to watch it. Awesome. Yes. Amazing. Thank you everyone for joining on. It is my time to tune out, and I hope to connect with you all soon.